Angry IP Scanner is a basic tool used to perform detections for live systems on a given network. Now, even though it's basic and very easy to use, it can perform some really cool stuff and it can give you some very nice results. Now notice when you start the application, it automatically detects the IP range that you are in and puts that in for you. And then it's ready to scan right there. You can change the range here. You can specify a different range, specify the host name and net mask you want. You can choose a random address. It will detect a base address, which is your IP address, your host IP address, and an 8-bit mask. So the scan here will typically take a really long time to finish. But first, use the range that you are in right now and hit start to check out which IP addresses are live. The red IP addresses are dead and it's almost done. It's a pretty quick tool. So we have 4 live hosts, it looks like. Let's scroll down. We have a couple of them here, and that looks like that's it. So what can this tool give us beside if the hosts are live or not? Now this tool relies on an ICMP packet, so it tries to ping the host. It couldn't detect one, host 106, because it has a firewall and is blocking ICMP packets. But it looks like the other host that is detected is the actual host that you were on. So show details, and there's really nothing more here. Here is another host that could be a Linux system or it could be something else. If a host was detected with some services available like FTP or Telnet, you can initiate this session to host from right here by simply right-clicking. If you go to Tools and you check out the fetchers, we can see what fetchers are available. We will add more to get more information here. So right now we have ping, let's see, host name and port. So let's add TTL, NetBIOS info, MAC address, MAC vendor. We're going to scan again. And we can see at the beginning is a D-Link router 192, which is the TTL. There is no NetBIOS information available, but we have the MAC address and we have the vendor for the MAC address. Okay. So while waiting for the scan to finish, let's go down here to 107. Cool. Fine. So it couldn't detect a lot because it's just a basic tool for basic detection of a network range. Here is the NetBIOS information of the system and the MAC address and the vendor of the MAC address. And here is the physical host. You can also see here the vendor, which is not a virtualized system. Okay. Now you can add more fetchers and you can mess with the tool and say show details of the command. Open session is exactly opening here. And right click. This really is a great tool for a network administrator to use to see who is alive on a network at any given time. But if you want something more advanced, something that maybe detects a heading computer like the one here at 106, which looks like it's blocking ICMP packets, or to detect which ports and systems or services are running on a system, you'll want to go something other than the Angry IP Scanner tool. You'll probably want Nmap or HPing. There are more good tools, but the most well-known tools, again, are Nmap and HPing.
Nmap, short for Network Mapper, is considered one of the best available tools for security scanning. It's a free and open source and works on Linux, Windows, and Mac OS X. Nmap is used heavily for security auditing, which means that it has been included as a requirement with many frameworks for security auditing, like Metasploit.
Nmap uses raw IP packets to determine which hosts are alive, which ports and services are running, which operating system and version it is, the uptime of a host, what packet filter or firewall is in place, and many other pieces of important information. Beside the built-in features, Nmap is a scriptable tool. With NSE or Nmap scripting engine, users can write a script to fit their needs. If you're not a script person, no worries, the Nmap repository comes with many scripts ready to use. ZenMap is the official GUI version of Nmap. It also works on almost all platforms and it's free. Good news there. ZenMap is pretty easy for beginners, although it does contain features for advanced users. Scan type can be selected from the drop-down menu, and a command line bar is available to initiate custom scan.
And another advantage is that ZenMap provides the ability to save a graphical report of your scans so you may view them later or even compare new scans with older versions.
The usage of Nmap is quite simple. It's very easy. Most of the scan types are specified with -S flag. For example, a ping scan will be -SP followed by the host or network IP. When specifying full subnet to scan, you can use the // to specify the mask instead, or writing the range of IP addresses. Nmap supports wildcards by eliminating the last octet of an IP address and replacing it with an asterisk. This indicates the same as writing it with masks. So like 192.168.1.0/24. If you eliminate 2 octets, this means your mask is 16. Makes it a lot easier.
Yes. Nmap needs to create custom packets to perform the scan. This applies to all type of scans except for ping scans. Root or administrator privileges are needed to perform most of the scans except for ping. When performing a ping sweep scan, Nmap will send an ICMP echo and a TCP ACK to each host it scans. If a host responds to either, it will be considered up.
Sometimes ICMP packets are blocked on firewall or routers that will degrade the functionality or detecting live systems with the normal ping scan for Nmap or any other tool. So in this case, we can still use ping, but on TCP rather than ICMP. So let's take port 80 for this example. Sending a TCP ping to port 80 for a host, even if it's behind a firewall, the host will respond with TCP RST if it is up and running.
Note that port 80 does not need to be open in order to send a response. Any port opened or closed will respond with TCP RST. RST means that the system is resetting the connection because a TCP handshake is not established yet.